I spent $50,000 to fly my whole company to Boracay in the Philippines. And here's why you should do the same. The team you just saw behind me were built up over a number of years, way before hybrid and remote work went mainstream. But there are actually 5 different levels to remote and hybrid work. IT Genius sits at level number 4, meaning that we have teams working in different locations, different time zones, but primarily working from home. And a big part of our hiring strategy has been bringing on team members from right here in the Philippines. And we now have over 50 employees right across our group from this very country. Now, this week is our team conference where we fly everybody into one city or one island as we are right now, and we bring them all together for team bonding, a little bit of education, and strategic thinking for the next year ahead. This is a fantastic time for our company because it means that we get to foster the relationships between our team members that are usually working individually from home. Now, while we're all in one place, most of our time is actually spent socializing. So that means a little bit of party, lots of karaoke, and getting the team together as much as possible for bonding time. But apart from just having fun, there's actually a very clear agenda here. And that is to foster the kind of interactions between people that wouldn't normally happen when you're on a video call. You see, once businesses go remote, they very quickly move to a very regimented kind of working, which is you're only able to talk to someone if you've got a meeting scheduled. And when you're hitting someone up on instant messaging or chat to get work done, it's typically only when you're in work mode. But what you miss out on is the kind of natural conversations that tend to happen in an office when you're in the same place. These are the kind of things that are really difficult to replicate when you've got a remote team. And so bringing everybody together into one place, that's all those natural human bonding moments occur, and that helps build a much better team. Now, for you watching this video, wondering how you can live the laptop lifestyle in your business, you're probably thinking, how can I get this done? How can I convert a legacy business over to laptop? Or how do I scale a business that works without a central location? Before we get into the how, I want to share with you the why, because most of this comes down to one magic word: arbitrage. So what is arbitrage? Well, my story of arbitrage didn't actually start here in the Philippines. It started right in my small office in Crow's Nest in North Sydney. You see, I had an office set up that I'd been running for a number of years. I had nearly 10 staff employed on Australian shores. And I was starting to grow the business and I had large ambitions. You see, I wanted to service customers all over Australia and eventually all over the world. But my business was held back because I was constantly having to juggle the cost of hiring employees with how much money I was bringing in the door. And I was in that really difficult place of trying to scale my business, but constantly being held back by trying to bring in a new dollar and having that dollar go straight out the door to hire more staff. Now, I hired my first Philippines-based employee after reading a book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And what I found was that even though that person's cost was about a quarter of what I was paying my staff in Australia, their work output was actually the same. Now, as I started to build my team in the Philippines and I got better at performance managing, well, I found that my team in the Philippines were better performing than my team in Australia. And that was a pretty crazy thing to me. Now, apart from the obvious cost reduction in labor, what advantages has this brought our business? Well, it's allowed us to hire roles that we wouldn't normally have hired. You see, in our business, we're a support business, and at the time, we pretty much only had IT technicians who were helping customers solve their problems. But I really needed marketing staff, I needed a bookkeeper and some finance staff, I needed HR staff to help me hire and recruit, and I needed general administration staff. But if I was to hire them in Australia, the numbers just wouldn't really work. As I built my team in the Philippines, I found that because I had lower cost of labor, I could hire those extra roles I would have taken a longer time to hire had I tried to hire them in Australia. And what that allowed me to do was deliver a better service to my customers, because my customers had someone to call when they needed to reconcile an account. I had someone to help me with administration so I could focus on growing the business. And those additional benefits very quickly compounded and helped me to grow the business faster. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering, isn't it exploitative to go to a developing country, start hiring their staff, and effectively use that labor for an Australian business? And yes, most people think that when we tell them that we're hiring staff in the Philippines. The reality is that we pay at market or above market rates for staff here, and staff are really grateful for work for our business. So as much fun as it is spending time on the beach with my team in the Philippines, most of the work of running a remote business actually happens right here in the office. So let's get into how to actually make it work. The most important rule, and I guess this is an overall guidance rule, is to treat your remote team like they're a local team. Too often we see businesses that are new to the game of building international teams have the offshore team and treat them separately to how they treat their local team. So you want to have everyone feeling like they're part of the same company, and that means treating everyone like one big team. Next up, you need to make sure that you have your team's needs taken care of. And that is, do they have the right hardware to get their work done? Do they have the right environment to get their work done? Have they got all of the services they need for the internet and to be able to work productively? It's your responsibility to make sure that everyone has a great environment to be productive and to help you achieve the business's goals. As soon as we talk about remote work, business owners start to get the feeling in the back of their head, how do I know if people are working or not? And this is a big challenge for everyone building a remote team. Now, post-COVID, we've got the reality where many people are working from home and no one's really being monitored in the way that they're working. And yes, some people do take the mickey and decide to take up multiple jobs in multiple positions, which is unfortunately becoming a trend. Now, the natural inclination of many large organizations and even small business owners is to start monitoring and controlling people's computers, tracking how many times they click their mouse or how many keyboard strokes they're doing per hour. And personally, I'm actually not a believer in that method of getting work done. I think if you treat your staff members like they need to be controlled or they need to be watched, well, you're going to be not only demotivating them, but it sends the message that they can't be trusted. Now, what we believe works best here is to set clear KPIs with team members so they feel like they're being clearly evaluated for their performance, but not controlled in the way that they're working. You wouldn't expect someone inside your office to have a manager breathing down their neck every hour of the day to see what they're up to. Now, we help our team stay on track by having a Monday meeting where everyone goes through their priorities for the week, and a Friday meeting where we review the week, look for any areas of improvement, and get ready to set up the next week. We make sure we do these meetings religiously with our team, even if a manager is away or someone's not feeling well that day, to make sure that everybody stays on the same page. We take notes, we record the meeting, and we share it with everyone on the team. A simple agenda for this meeting would be to bring up your statistics and KPIs and look at how the business is performing and how each person's area of the business is actually getting work done. Number 2, talk about each person's capacity. We use the traffic light system. You're red if you're completely overworked, you're yellow if you're doing okay, but you can potentially take on more work, and you're green if you've got extra capacity to take on more tasks. Thirdly, you want to check in on your projects and tasks. What's in progress, what's done, and what's not done or needs help. And if anyone needs to raise a hand and get support from someone, this is the place to do it. Once you've got these basics down, it's time to strap on the supercharger. Nothing compares to getting some human one-on-one time together, and that's where we start to bring in-person events into our team. Now, the best case scenario is that at least once a year, you fly everybody into one location and spend some time on social activities and work on your business strategy together as a team. Now, we do this in a different location every year, and our team tell us this is the best thing about working in our company. And it's not just about going to an exotic destination somewhere. It's really about having the team spend time together. Now, if you don't yet have the budget to fly everybody into one place, or that's not on the agenda for you, well, you could at a minimum have city dinner meetups. And they are also very popular with our team when we don't have time to get everybody together in one place. Those idle conversations and relationship building are the absolute key for a hybrid or remote team to work, and we strongly recommend you make these happen. In this video, we've delved into the world of arbitrage, and we've shared how we make use of this to build a great remote team in our business. In the comments, I'd love to know from you, which of these tips will you be implementing and how will you be using them to build a better business?